this morning. We have got a red-billed hornbill. Oh, I have to say goodbye to Taxon. Have a wonderful holiday. Seems as though Tax is closing down for the morning, and he then goes on his week of leave, so I hope he has a wonderful, relaxing time. I'm sure he'll spend it with his family. This one is now quite cold. You can see it's opened up its wings slightly, just trying to warm itself. Face this way, though. You're facing the wrong side. If you want the sun, or maybe it's actually just enjoying the sun on its back. I suppose it could be warming up its feathers at the back too. They're funny looking birds, the hornbills. Now it's going to give itself a groom. Right, where is the next one? It's actually very quiet here, other than the oxpecker making a bit of noise. No one else is making any sounds whatsoever. Okay, let's get a move on though. Let's drive on our new road. Maybe we can't stop. Right, let's go. Couple of hyena tracks moving around here too, but otherwise not much activity in terms of footprints around in the bush today, particularly of those of the predators. Ah, look what we found. Oh, there's a warthog too. Hello, wildebeest. Let me show you a wildebeest. I know Ali's got some more wildebeest, so I'll very quickly show you ours, and then I'll send you across to her. But this is a big bull by the looks of it, and also because he's on his own. Remember, the male wildebeest mark and defend territory, so they have to wait around and hope that the females will decide to come to them. But I think Ali's got more wildebeest than I do. Let's go across and see how her gnu's are doing.
Well, it seems like the wildebeest migration onto quarantine for this winter has started. I think there's about a dozen of them or so that I can see from here, and the few females, youngsters, they're all moving around and enjoying the grass. Got a beautiful youngster there. You see it's got that reddish tinge to his face, and the horns are not that big. We still have to curve, like probably the one of its mother, the one that's walking behind the one that we're looking at. Now, I think it's a good thing that they are back. Perhaps next time the Nkahumas do come around, they'll be attracted to a wildebeest. Would be quite interesting to see that play out in quite a big open area like quarantine is. I'm moving slowly westwards, so we're just behind some thick grass over there. Let me just maybe try and go slightly forward, see if we can have another look at them. Moving around. Almost there. Almost there. Alright guys, hello. Ooh, lots of them. Julia, you're wondering if prey animals are good at picking up any potential predators outside of visual cues. They are. They're very good. They'll rely on their sense of hearing and on their sense of smell to be able to pick up anything. So that's why sometimes the predators, as we were saying earlier on, they will try to disguise their scent by rolling around in the dung of some herbivores to try and confuse everything. And more often than not, for creatures or antelopes that live in very thick vegetation like bushbucks, kudus, nyala, they'll rely more on their sense of hearing rather than any visual cues to be able to pick up on their potential predators. We've got a very brave bull, and perhaps he's tired of spending so much time with all the herd and just needs a bit of a break and moved off. I think maybe there are 2 dozens actually, because I can just see a lot of necks and backs all the way to the back, and they're all moving around. So perhaps this is that big herd that, well, thinking it's very likely so, that's about maybe 30 odd or so wildebeest around here. Which is very nice, because they're also going to help probably clear up this area a little bit more as they start walking around and just trampling the grass and making it a bit more open for themselves and for other creatures that might come into this area. with history, you're saying the landscape doesn't look very healthy. Well, it looks as healthy as it can be at this time of the year. Unfortunately, it is the winter time, so everything dries out. The grass is not beautiful and green like perhaps of what we're looking at in the Mara, and it is normal for this time of the year for the grass to look this color. So there are still some food sources available. Perhaps the grass is not as nutritious, but I think overall a lot of the animals are still looking quite healthy, especially if we compare them. We had a very bad drought last year, and the summer was very hot and very dry, and the winter was terrible for a lot of creatures. So everything was a lot more open than what it is now in the last year's drought, and the animals in general were looking in terrible condition. So I think this year hasn't been as bad, or at least this winter season up to now hasn't been as terrible or as harsh on the animals as last year's was. But yes, it looks sometimes kind of sad seeing everything go yellow. As you know, it isn't too nutritious all around. So peaceful. And they're normally called also gnus, and not only wildebeest, because they make a constant call. It's gnang, gnang, and you hear them all around. But seems like everyone's too busy with having their heads down, enjoying some breakfast, to move around and start making any noises. We've got this lone wildebeest there. We're going to leave this wildebeest to their breakfast, but while we do that, let's go over to Tayla, who seems to have found another feathery friend.
We do. We have a broo, a male broo, and actually have a listen to him. He's calling. Here's another one. Isn't that great? It reminds me of a telephone ringing. That's how I remember their calls, the broo-broos. And we just all of a sudden started seeing so many of them around here. Now, they're not migrants, they're residents, and they're fairly common, just to try and get them on camera, but we see we're quite far away from them, so I don't think they realize that we've actually stopped to have a look at them. But they like these woodland areas. That's why I say this new road that they've created is really, really great to find these birds that prefer sort of wooded, dense areas. It really is nice. Now, my goal, I think, for this year is to try and find even more bird nests than what we did last year. And we actually had a good going. We found from hornbill nest, magpie shrikes, we find laughing doves, and all sorts of wonderful things. So I definitely want to try and find the nest of a broo, but they're difficult to find. They normally make their nests in the fork of a tree, like a lot of the birds do, the smaller birds do as well. Some of the flycatchers do the same thing. And they make a little cup nest. But what makes it even trickier is that they're decorated with bits of lichen. So you can imagine you could peer straight into a tree and actually not even know that there was a nest right in there. That was nice. Ginger, I don't know if you've seen a broo before, though I've seen them the last couple of days. And there's another one for you. Who else have we got here? There was also a golden-breasted bunting that landed on top of the tree at one point, but then it flew away just before we got to show you it. I like the buntings. They're very pretty birds. What else? Who else is here? No leopards and no leopard tracks just yet. But we're still keeping an eye out for more cats. You can hear drongos. Drongos look like it's having a dispute. Looks like it's chasing someone. Let's see if we can have a look. Right on top of this balanites tree. It might be a bit difficult. Awkward angle. Nah, we're not going to see that. It's just two fork-tailed drongos that were chasing each other, which is quite a common sight. If they're not chasing one another, then they're chasing another bird off. Very territorial. I've got to keep scanning from left to right. But if you have just joined us, maybe your day is only just getting started, or it's just ending. This is a live and interactive safari, and I'd love to have questions from you. So if you have got any questions from us here, you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and we'd love to have some chats. Oh, there's the question now. Kirpal, you're wondering what is the biggest bird out there? My goodness, when you say out there, I feel like you're talking about the world. I think One of the birds with the largest wingspans is the wandering albatross, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty big. You don't see that out here in the bush. We're quite a far distance away from the ocean. So I would say out here there's a number of different birds. The martial eagle is the largest eagle that we get in this area. What else have we got that's really big? Secretary bigs are massive in terms of standing tall. Then of course you've got to go to the Goliath heron. They're very tall birds, standing, just over a meter. I think what are secretary birds? Maybe almost 1.2, 1.3 meters, somewhere around there. They're not small. Goliath heron will probably be somewhere around the same, but I do stand under correction. I'm just busking at the heights now. The southern ground hornbills, which you heard calling this morning with Ali, and you've seen on the last few drives too. They're relatively big birds. There's a little bird party here. There's one tiny one. I know it's going to fly away though. I think no, it's in the grass. Oh, there's another one just here to the right on this bush. Sebastian, this is the trickiest part, with these small birds, is that they never want to sit still. They keep flying, so I'll let Sebastian fly. You can see them moving at the back there, but again, it was priniers. There's so many of them around at the moment. You just see where they fly, and the leaves bouncing back. Sneaky birds. Let's sit here and let me scan. Quickly check. I can hear them. They're all fluttering around us. There's one on the top of, I think we were looking at the same thing. There's a bird on that silver cluster leaf. Who have we got? Golden-breasted buntings. Very nice. They look a lot bigger than what they normally do, just because they're all fluffed up. They're obviously still a bit chilly, but you can see that golden breast, the two white stripes above and below the eye, and then the black sort of head. Very easy to identify. And then you also get the cinnamon-breasted bunting, being chased around at the moment, which looks exactly the same, except it's sort of got a cinnamon-coloured breast rather than the golden breast. While they're chasing about, that'll be difficult to try and follow them. Right, who else have we got here? Nice birds in here. I can only hear a turtle dove. I can't really hear anything else. Okay, let's go around the corner. Let's keep searching. What bird would you like to see today, Sebastian? We don't know. We'll see if we can get this drongo. There's a drongo just here. Where did you land? I'm going to pretend like I'm going past it, and then we'll look back onto it. Otherwise we'll be glaring into the sun. No, it's flying away now. Sometimes the birds are so cooperative, and then other days they're just like, nah, we don't feel like showing ourselves to you. It's alright. We saw a leopard. You've been seeing lots and lots of birds in Kenya. And well, speaking of Mr. Kenya, aka James Henry, is still narrating on the dam cam. I don't know what he's got to show you this time, but let's go take a look.
Well, some soil at the moment is what I've got to show you, but that's okay. I'm not sure if I should be complimented or slightly insulted that Tayla has decided to call me Mr. Kenya. Well, Tayla, I'm going to take it as a compliment. I'm going to take it that you're just missing me and my exuberant personality around the camp. And who can blame you, Tayla? Who can blame you? Right, there we have a whole lot more hippopotami. That is not the same group of hippopotami that we saw earlier in the day. These chaps are sitting just on the sort of other side of some rapids, enjoying possibly the massage feeling of the bubbling waters flowing over their blubber and skin. Remember, hashtag Safari Live for any questions or comments that you might wish to toss our way. We'll do our best to answer those questions. The next time you come to the river camp, we will probably have some form of studio set up as well, so that you can come and I can show you the maps and show you where everything is, and I can tell you a little bit about the migration as well, if you like. Hello, Roshni. You're wondering about rains in the Mara and whether or not we're expecting more rain here to raise the level of the water. Roshni, it's unlikely. We seem to be at the end of what they call the long rains, which run between sort of April and June. We're now obviously into July. Can you believe it? I'm sure everybody is going, oh, can you believe it's July already? Can't wait, let all the time go. Anyway, here we find ourselves in July with the crocodile. And Roshni, I think it's therefore unlikely that the river will raise. It's not entirely impossible, but I think it's quite unlikely. So there is a little crocodile. I think he's got himself quite a nice position here at the dusty crossing. It is certainly not beyond the realms of possibility that a wildebeest zebra or Thompson's gazelle will come past here, and he's not a very big crocodile to be in this area. Let's see how far we can zoom into his face. See if he's smiling at us. You can see even this camera, which is really well sheltered from the wind, is shaking a little bit. And that's because there is quite a lot of breeze out there today. Now, we were asked earlier if hippo and crocodile are friends. Well, no, there they are. They're like enemies on the playground at school, sitting at opposite ends to each other. Now, Gillian, you're wondering if crocodiles here are the same species as the huge Nile crocodile. Gillian, they are the Nile crocodile. This is I think it's Crocodilus niloticus. That is what they are. And they are not, in fact, everybody will tell you that the Mara crocodiles, the biggest crocodiles you'll find, or sometimes in the world, which is utter rubbish, and sometimes in Africa, which also apparently is not necessarily true. The biggest crocodiles caught in Africa tend to come from, I think, around the Congo. A few have been caught in Tanzania, a couple have been caught up in the Nile. But you do get some very, very large crocodiles here. But they are the Nile crocodile throughout this continent. There is one other crocodile species that you find in Africa, and I've forgotten its name, but it's a dwarf crocodile of some sort. You can tell me what it's called if you like. #SafariLive. I'm not feeling quite the love, I used to when I was at Djuma. Very little coming my way out of the Twitter sphere because I haven't been out in the field much. So, Judy H., if you're still there and still speaking to me, perhaps you can remind me of the other crocodile species that we find in Africa. The biggest crocodile species, of course, you find in the world is the saltwater crocodile, which you'll find off Australia. And apparently you don't want to go anywhere near a saltwater crocodile. Oh, they can be up to, I think, about 10 feet long, if I'm not mistaken. That's huge. Huge crocodile. All right, let's go to the other crossing, and I will change my accent back to the normal one. Good. Excellent. Now, what have we got there in the middle? Now, it is a little bit difficult for me to show you a too wide a view because these crossings do face a little bit east, which means that the camera exposes for the brightness, and so the banks tend to become a little bit sort of dimmed. Now, there's another croc. He's a little bit bigger than the other one, and also waiting patiently for the herds to arrive. Now, I don't know if you were watching us last year when we came here in September and August, when there were lots of wildebeest around still and many zebra and Thompson's gazelles. But we watched a crossing here. This is the cul-de-sac crossing, and we watched a crossing at the many crossings at the Dusty crossing, the one that I've just shown you now. And there are another 3 or 4 cameras going up which are going to show us the other 2 or 3 crossings. Justin, you want to know why the Mara is such a low-flowing river? Justin, I think it's because the catchment is relatively small. It doesn't. If we think of the great big rivers of the world, what should we go with here? Should we go with something like the Colorado River, for example? I think it's hugely fed by snowmelt. And I think if you look at some of the other big rivers, the Nile, I guess, isn't fed by snowmelt, but some of the other great European rivers, most of them fed by snowmelt, which come off vast ranges of mountains. So there's a huge amount more water that flows down them. Here, this river is actually not very long. It's 250 miles long, which is not particularly long at all. And it rises in a fairly small group of hills known as the Mao Escarpment, which is forested, and so there is quite a lot of water there. But it doesn't have a huge catchment area. And so, rather like many of the rivers in Africa, you'll find that it will flood from time to time, periodically, when there's an enormous amount of rain and the tributaries fill up, and they then disgorge into the main artery, which of course is the Mara. well, then it will flood. But that, I think, probably happens very seldom. Now, the thing about being in a place like this, of course, for, initially, is that you read a lot about it, but your interpretation of what you see is often very different from what you read. And it's only over the course of many seasons and many years that you truly come to understand an ecosystem. And, it's one of the problems with academic research, for example, in areas like this. They often tend to be short-term studies. And with a short-term study, I think there's another crocodile there, it's very difficult to truly predict what is going on here and appreciate the complexities of an ecosystem like this. And so what I think you'll find is that although I'm spouting forth various things about the Mara River, like it floods periodically, etc., etc., it would take a long time for us to really figure out what was going on. I think there are two hippo here having a little bit of a sort of conversation of some kind. Now, apparently Ali has not been a very good Sherlock. Perhaps she's lacking her Watson, and she'd like to tell you about that now.
Well, I think the Kahuma mystery is no mystery. I don't think those lions were here yesterday. We haven't been able to find one track for them in any of the north, east, west, or southern roads from the dam. So I'm not too sure what the story is. Maybe they grew wings and they flew off. I'm not sure, because also Tayla's been driving around some roads, and also she hasn't been able to pick up anything up. So who knows? Maybe this afternoon we'll be able to find out if there was something that we missed. We are slowly, though, heading towards the main road, towards the cut lines, and see if perhaps there are any more lion tracks around here. See if perhaps any of the other guides have got them onto their side. Whoop. My binoculars have started falling. But what was that running? I saw something running. And I want to say it was a wild dog, but very likely it was an impala. It is an impala, because I've got some more here to my right hand side, hiding in between the bushes. Come guys, say hello. So that I'm proven not to be crazy making animals up. Beautiful impala. We've got a bachelor herd, and I'm sure it's the one that we always see around here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 5 of them. Counted wrong. Alexander, you're wondering what species of antelope is the slowest. That's a very good question. I'm actually not sure. I've never thought about it in those terms. Impalas are very well known for being quick. Perhaps, I would say perhaps some of the antelope that live in thicker vegetation, because they don't run for too long. Perhaps something like a bushbuck or a yellow, although those ones are quite fast too. But I don't know if maybe something smaller like a diker or a steenbok would be much slower, because they, an impala step or an impala jump might be 3 or 4 for a steenbok or a diker. So maybe they are slower in comparison to the bigger antelope around here, just because they cannot cover the same amount of terrain due to their small size as one of this one does. So it would be interesting to see in terms of body shape and relative to body size which one would be. I'll have to look it up. Some more sparrows flying around. Now they've left the tree that they were on, and I can't see them anymore. So, alright, I think I can hear more birds, so I just want to try and going slightly forward, see if maybe we'll see anything else. Who knew that the main road was going to be such a good birding spot? Alright, I can hear you little ones, but where are you? See a drongo flying away? Oh, this was a near bird party miss what we just had. I think they've all flown further back. I can't really see them now. Sorry, Megan, would you mind repeating the question from James about bird songs? I'm close to the power line, so I think that gets in the way of the radio. James, you're asking what makes a bird a songbird. I believe that songbirds have different vocal cords or different adaptations within their larynx that allows them to produce much more beautiful noises in a more of a constant manner. And I think that's why some of them are called songbirds, if I am not mistaken. I remember reading something about it not too long ago, but I cannot remember the exact reason for it. And I think it had to do with the voice box and the way that the air is passed through their larynx and their system. So I think the songbirds have a bit of a different structure in their throats that allows them to sustain this noises or their call for a while longer, making it more into a song rather than just a shriek or a little call. Now, this is the area where we had shadow yesterday, and I know Tayla checked on the new road, but I was wondering if perhaps she had decided to come back around here, although it doesn't seem like that's the case. But, come on, little birds. Songbirds would be nice to see. Seems like Tayla has gone all the way to quarantine, so I'm hoping she's going to be able to do some more birding there, so let's go over to her.
Are you following me around, Ali? How did you know I was on quarantine? That's very sneaky. Megan, was it you? Did you tell her that? Or has Ali got some type of telepathic connection with me that I'm unaware about? Megan says maybe. Right, so we're going to go back across the dam wall now. And I think what I'd like to do is try and do a bit of birding as well. We started, we had a few requests. But I want to go and have a look at some vultures. It's been quite some time since I've seen vultures, and we know that who have we got here? There's a mongoose. Hang on, I'm getting distracted. We know that the hyenas killed I'm pretty sure they would have killed that impala, and they ate it. So now the vultures are after the remnants. So we're going to see if we can find them. No, the dwarf mongoose is shy. They've now run away from me. So no dwarf mongoose for us. Let's keep going. We'll see, we'll stop at the dam as well. There's normally quite a few birds around. I'm missing our family of white-faced whistling ducks. I haven't seen them for a while. Lots of hornbills flying down into the grass this morning too. Let's see, no, it doesn't really look just from this angle that there's much bird life around the dam, but maybe I'll be surprised. We've just got to go down through the dip and up onto the top of the dam wall, and I'm also going to keep my eyes open for lion tracks around here. But I'm pretty certain if Ali has driven around here, Lex has driven around here, and they haven't seen anything, that we're probably not going to see any tracks either. I'm going to triple check. I think that was a hyena track. Yes, lots of hyena tracks around here. Ooh, here's a request we haven't had for a while, and it's from Cheryl, wondering if I can find some black-bellied bustards. I can hear a crested barbet. Where are you sitting? Oh, there it is. Is that it? No, that's the dove. I will try and look for a black-bellied bustard. Have you got it? Sebastian's got much better. Oh, there. Trying to figure out where on earth this crested barbet was calling from. It was quite difficult. And they're often around the dam, sitting on these dead trees. They like to nest in holes in trees. That's quite typical of barbets, so it makes sense to hang around the dead ones. But there it is. It's quite beautiful in color. One of the most striking birds out here, and one of the noisiest too. And I'm sure if you watch the dam cam during the day, you'll hear them non-stop. So it should be one of the first bird calls that you hear, along with the Egyptian goose and the blacksmith lapwings, because they make quite a noise around the dam too. And that's not all that's here. Sebastian, up into straight up from where that bird is, there's a pigeon. I think it's an African green pigeon, just over there. Yes, hello. One of my favorite pigeons. Beautiful as well. Green and yellow, a little bit of purple on the side of the wing when they're facing the right way. Just warming itself up. Oh, there's a whole flock of them. They're just flown through and landing on the trees around it. I think this one, maybe we'll go and join them. Also, probably looking for trees that have fruit on them. Right, let's go on top of the dam wall. Let's see. A woodpecker. You might even see me on the dam cam now too if you're scanning about. I'm not sure who's zoomy today. Let me turn this down. There's the pigeons. Where are you going to land? You're going to land on the other tree with the rest of your friends. Maybe they were having a drink of water. But before I even get there, there's a blacksmith lapwing right up in front. We'll just tick a few of them off the list, and they're calling at the moment too. That one's not the one that's making the noise. It's its partner right at the edge of the dam. Crested barbet singing away again just in the background. You can even hear some green wood hoopoes around Tayla Lodge. And we have some starlings too. Actually just up in front of us. We'll look at them this side and then I'll try and go forward and see if they don't fly away. And then we'll be able to see them with their beautiful coloration. Because at the moment we're sort of looking into the sun. But there are the starlings, sitting amongst all the thorns. It's very peaceful out here, it's beautiful. We're having a lovely day. I hope we're not going to get wind this afternoon. And it's unusual to have so much wind at this time of the year. Perhaps it was just from that cold front. The clouds seem to have completely disappeared now. But we normally only get wind around August, September. Let me go forward. Let me see if I can go away. But yeah, I think if I go forward we'll get all these birds, because there's an Egyptian goose too I want to show you. So don't fly, starlings, don't mind us. We're just pretending we're going to drive past and then we're going to look back at you. Oh man, hush. The blacksmith lapwings being drama queens. It's very nice actually. Can we, before we have a look at the go away bird, can we have a look at, just have a quick look at those starlings? We'll get them out of the way because it's very pretty. That's just the aerial. That piece of wire that you're seeing, that's a game drive aerial. Ah. With force. Well done, Sebastian. We're struggling. Just the presenter light is in the way there. But now you can see that beautiful iridescence that they have. And that bright orange eye. My favorite, the Cape Glossy starling. Listen to everyone. Oh. Huge disputes this morning. So that's them. And then there's a go away bird, but it's flying away now. There's an Egyptian goose that's just taken to the water, going for its morning swim. Where's your partner? Unusual to see just one Egyptian goose on its own. They're normally always together. There we go. Got its head down. Looks like it's going to start feeding for the day. Now that can't be particularly deep there. I'm sure its webbed feet must be touching the mud. Now I would not want to swim around in that, because if anything touches my feet when I'm in the water, I'm out. I run, I leap. It almost looks like I could fly. I get out of that water so quickly. I'm not having any of it. Sebastian's laughing at me. It's the truth. You must see if seaweed touches me on the beach. You would swear that there was a shark. And I probably would frighten everybody because I'd overreact and shout, shark, shark, and make everybody panic. And everyone would race out of the water and it would just be a piece of seaweed. And I could have ruined everybody's holiday. I feel like that would happen one day. I think I maybe have done this already. Maybe I'm just recalling a memory. There's actually a few birds coming down to drink. I'm just trying to find ones that we haven't seen yet. There's a little wagtail. I don't know if you can see. Is it a wagtail? No. Yes, it is. There's a pied wagtail that we've got there. There it is. Yes. Hello. That's another little one. We don't often get to see the wagtails. We do see them around at Chitwa Dam. There's a pair of them that live on the middle island. And they spend quite a bit of time there. And the blacksmith lapwings this morning, the reason why they're making such a noise is because they're chasing every single bird that dare comes down to drink at Tayla Dam. They're chasing it away. They're not happy with anybody today. You can see that they're flying from one end of the dam to the other and then across the wall. You're not going to chase me away at that, I can tell you. There's the other one. Just flying off the screen. Look at them. Let's see what happens. They're now just on the top of the dam wall. 3 of them. Are we going to have a standoff this morning? Well, I suppose they are having a standoff. That's what they're doing. They're just standing. Very, very noisy. Oh. Thought they were going to gang up on one. Yes, see? I don't seem to like that one. Must be an intruder. Look, see, every time it tries to... Oh, that's exciting. So there we go. So we've got the female obviously running at the back, and it's two males competing for this girl. Very interesting. You saw how she sat down there. She's obviously ready to be mated with, but it's quite tough because the male in front, who's obviously the top dog, has got an annoying contender who keeps coming back around. You see, he's very adamant. He's flying off to go and chase it again. Oh, that was very interesting, and off they go. Well, good luck to the two of you. I hope you get rid of that blacksmith lapwing that's being a nuisance. We've got a turtle dove over here who's singing its song. I think it's this one that's calling. Oh my goodness, there's all sorts of things going on over here. So that's what's so great about being on a safari. Sometimes you don't actually have to go anywhere. You can just sit at one spot and take a break and have a look at the birds. And sometimes the animals come to you. Isn't that right, Mr. Turtle Dove? You've got a beautiful voice. Megan, am I still live? Or am I just having conversations all on my own? I'm just checking. I'm just double, triple, quadruple checking. Because I have this before. Sometimes you might have a bit of interference and they've had to crash cut away for you, but I haven't had comms. And I think the longest I've continued presenting for was about 20 minutes. And then I think it was Rebecca and Kirst. They saw me and they saw me moving my hands around more than what I normally do. And they said, Tayla must still think that she's live. I think it was on Cheetah Plains, which was quite funny. And then they managed to send me a message and that got across to me. Can you smell all that fuel? I don't know if we're leaking fuel again, but I can smell it quite heavily. Delicious. It's very nice. It's not nice at all. We'll have to check that out at one point. I did check earlier. Is that us? No, that's just mad hair. Oh, okay. Right. And okay. I'm going to send you across now to a view from the dam cam. Is Alice manning the dam cam? Oh, you want to see me, but you want to see us wave. Sebastian, we're going to blow kisses to all of you. We have to move forward a bit. Why, Megan? Why must... You can't see me. Can you see me now? How about now? And now? And now I'm going to be like an annoying child in the back of the car. Are we there yet? But now we need to... Okay, wait, Megan, you're going to watch me reverse. Now I'm going to carry on talking because I'm going to come back past and Sebastian and I are going to do a drive-by and we're going to blow kisses. You ready? And wave like a queen. But Sebastian, let's not drive off the edge of the dam wall because everyone's watching us now. Okay, right. Are you ready? We're going to wave first and then blow kisses. Okay. You can comment on how you think our technique is and we'll blow a couple of kisses. Oh, I almost drove off the wall. Right, that's enough of me being ridiculous now. But as you can see from the view of the dam, it is a beautiful spot. Oh no, you're back with me now. It is a beautiful spot out. Yeah, now we need to do the same thing. I have to turn around again because we actually want to go back that way. So let me do that. We're slowly but surely getting to those vultures. We've just got to go a little bit on central and then we'll go up Gari Cutline and get to the vultures eventually. But I'm going to send you now across to Ali as I try and do a bit of maneuvering and reversing and all these types of things, and I'll wave again as we go past the dam. Ali is at Twin Dams. I wonder what little birds will be lurking in the marshy lands.
And it's looking quite flat. It's walking in a very funny way. And there we go. We also saw it at Chitwa Dam yesterday. And we can hear some more Cape turtle doves in the distance, making their beautiful calls. Very brave of you to go into that water, that green water. Now, this water has had what is defined as an algae boom. And it happens often when hippos are in here, because when hippos urinate to defecate inside of the water, then that will cause the that will pretty much fertilize the water, if I can say it like that, and it will cause the perfect conditions for the algae to come around. Also, we've had quite windy days, and it's believed that when it's nice and hot like it is today, and when there's been lots of wind, that those conditions are perfect for the cyanobacteria to start moving around. Interestingly enough, this algae that we see here, that is not that pretty, not that beautiful, is one of the oldest organisms. If not, it is believed that cyanobacteria was one of the first living organisms that there ever was on Earth. So we're looking at something that survived millions and billions of years and slowly taking over. It does look a bit disgusting, I might say. And the animals they don't love drinking this water, but sometimes beggars can't be choosy. So when there aren't enough water sources available, then you'll see that they'll come down and drink them. However, there's been a lot of interesting studies done in the Kruger Park where this water and the toxins that are released from the algae actually have damaged the nervous system and the livers of different creatures. And I think the study was carried out mostly on zebra because they were dying close to the dams and nobody could understand why, until eventually they managed to link the two things together. So even in winter, even the water sources can become a bit poisonous for excess of hippo. Now, we know that there was a hippo that was living here for quite a while, and I think just whatever it was left from him urinating and defecating here, and just because it was very hot, or it's been quite a hot winter and lots of wind coming around, that's pretty much caused all of this boom that we see around here. Treatments for it, not too many. I think a lot of them are just to put some very crazy and poisonous substances into the water to kill the algae, but that can also be detrimental for the animals around here. So a lot of the times the best thing to do is just kind of let them die on their own. Eventually, if they do take over, there's not going to be enough oxygen in the water perhaps for them to carry on living. But pumping the pans, that's what a lot of parks and reserves have done to try and prevent this from happening, because we won't see this in a flowing river. It becomes a bit harder for us to see any of that because there isn't enough of accumulation of the necessary factors for these algae to take over. So a bit unfortunate for the animals around here, but you'll see often elephants. We had them drinking from this dam the other day, which I thought was quite unusual because they preferred going down to the Molowati and start digging over there for water. But they were moving the top layer of the water, almost just trying to move all this algae away, and then they went just deeper down, trying to get water that's probably a bit fresher than this water over here that looks very much like a pond, doesn't it? Too many things around there. It's perhaps, I don't know if you've noticed, on farms and everything, also when there are a lot of goose around, then it does happen that we have this algae boom. Michael, you're wondering if we get any fish in this dam, or if it's too shallow. Well, I think we would probably barbels in here. They seem to be quite sturdy, and you may also know them as catfish. Come around here. I haven't seen any of them though in the last little while, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were, even if the water's too shallow, because they are very marvelous fish in the sense that they're able to hibernate, and when the water source is dry, then they manage to slow their metabolism down, and then they'll bury themselves into the bottom parts of the mud as it starts drying out, just to be able to have that extra layer of protection, and then they'll wait, or maybe they'll pretty much remain dormant until the next rainy season comes along. Now I can see, however, is a few heads for different terrapins that are in the water, and I think we had managed to spot one, but I think it's gone down into the water. So every now and again we'll see them taking their heads up, grabbing some air, and then going back down. And I think in terms of animal life, that's what I can see for now around here. Did you find it? Did you find one? I can't see any more terrapins. Rashni, you're wondering if it's a good breeding ground for mosquitoes. Well, I think pretty much any stagnant source of water, it's an excellent... there's a terrapin. It's an excellent source of... Well, it's a good breeding ground for mosquitoes. However, because the temperature hasn't been as hot and it hasn't been as humid as it was during the summer months, then we have less mosquitoes around. But yes, pretty much any stagnant water source is known to be good for mosquitoes, and it's why malaria is such a big problem around all of Africa pretty much. And funny enough, mosquitoes are the animal that's believed to kill more humans throughout the world on a yearly basis than anything else. Now I can hear a squirrel alarming in the distance, but it seems I wonder. I think maybe we're gonna leave this very green terrapin that's very gracefully wading its way around the algae, and I'm just gonna go check up on that squirrel that's alarming, because Tundi was left around this area and she went into little Gowrie, so there's a chance that the squirrel is looking at Tundi. While we investigate though, let's go over to Tayla and see the beautiful vultures that she's got. I wonder which ones they are.
We've got mainly, seems like white-backed vultures, which is probably the most, I'd say the most common species of vulture that we get out here, along with the hooded vulture. And then every now and then we're lucky enough we get to see lappet-faced and white-headed too, but they're not particularly as common. Now they're beautiful birds, and the two that we're looking at right now are actually mating a couple of minutes ago, which was quite interesting. Very nice to see. It's an amazing display, and I don't actually know how they do it, up in the tops of a tree and balancing like that. Most of the birds we see will mate down on the ground and things like that, so a vulture is not a particularly small bird either, which I think is pretty spectacular. But they look like they did have full crops, so I think they must have finished off what was left of that impala carcass, and they're just going to rest here, wait to catch some thermals, I'm sure, before they go out for the next part of the day. Oh, hello, tawny eagle, who is also sitting amongst the vultures. That's quite nice to see, and not uncommon, of course. Tawny eagles as well as battle-ear eagles are often the first ones to spot kills down on the ground, and then the vultures will come in afterwards. It's just because they fly at a much lower level. But very nice to see so many birds today. Now, Neems, you're wondering if a eagle will ever eat carcass meat. Of course. So just as we always talk about lions and hyenas and leopards being scavengers and opportunistic feeders, the same rule applies with the birds. So I've even seen an African fish eagle which predominantly feeds on fish. I've even seen... What is that? Can you hear that? I feel like that's coming from the car. There's a strange noise, sorry. I'm just talking to Sebastian and also thinking out loud. So yes, I've seen African fish eagles feeding off, I can't remember if it was a bushbuck or a nyala or an impala. It was an antelope of some sort on the side of the Bushman's River. So a tawny eagle will most certainly do the same thing, a battle-ear, and lots of different species of the birds. Sometimes we even see things like francolins coming right up to carcasses, and starlings doing the same thing, but not to eat the meat, but to eat the maggots, so the larvae from the flies. They'll feed upon them. But a behavior that I'm dying to see, and I haven't seen it just yet, I've seen lots of footage of it, is as dirty as what vultures are, because they're feeding on putrid meat most of the time. You can imagine completely covered in all of this terrible bacteria and that type of thing. Is they're actually quite clean. They'll go down and have baths, and now that's something that I've never seen. It's a dream sighting of mine to see, 20 or 30 vultures, even more, the more the merrier, go down to a watering hole and actually bathe themselves after feasting on a carcass. I always seem to miss it. They'll go down, they'll completely submerge themselves in the water, sort of put their heads down and lift them back up and scoop that water over their feathers. Now, they're not like ducks and the rest of the water birds that have got special oils that will actually waterproof their feathers. They lack that. Then they need to dry their feathers a good old-fashioned way by opening up their wings and allowing the wind and the sun to do a good job before they can then take off and continue about their day. So that's something that I'd like to see, and we do have a better chance of seeing it now in winter, because everything starts to disappear. All the food for the herbivores starts to disappear, and then the animals get weaker and weaker. And this is where the predators have a better chance of course, catching lots of different things. But this is the time of the year that the vultures normally make their nests and lay eggs. It's normally around June, July, somewhere around here. Ooh. Now, a question from Samantha. You're wondering, what is my top bird on my worldwide list of birds to see? Something along those lines. It's going to have to be a shoebill. That's the one that I'm after. I'm going to have to go up to Zambia or maybe even Uganda. Sorry, I've got a little tickle in my throat to go and see one of those, but that's definitely them. I'm happy to see all different kinds of birds. Sorry, I just want to see what is in this tree. I think it's just caught my attention. I don't know if it's a branch that's maybe broken off, but something looks quite... No, it's a kill. Oh my goodness, there's a kill in the tree. An impala ram. When is this from? This is so interesting. Now we've just pulled off the road just slightly. We were on Buffels of Cutline, and in this marula tree, obviously sitting with the vultures, something just caught my eye as I turned around to answer your question about which bird I really want to see out of the worldwide birds. And I saw something red. And initially I thought, oh, maybe it's from the elephants. Maybe the elephants have broken down a branch of the marula, because you know the cambium layer and the heartwood of the marula trees is actually this beautiful red color. It's quite lovely. And then look at this, an impala kill on the top of the tree. Now I don't know when this is from. It doesn't look fresh. It couldn't have been Mvula, because we would have seen Mvula coming here, because we're not far from where we saw him sitting at that burrow of the warthog. So it's somebody else. Now I know they've just said to me that they had a leopard. I think they said a male leopard, not far from Tamboti Dam. We're a little bit of a way out, that's slightly more west from us. But definitely a leopard that's taken this carcass up a tree. Should we do a bit more of investigating around? But that's quite interesting. And there's nothing left of it. Let's drive around the base of the tree. I'm going to get out and actually have a look and see if we can see any signs. See if we can find the claw marks of the leopard that's gone up of this tree. So many mysteries. This is really interesting. Actually, let me go forward again for you, Sebastian, then we might be able to get a view here. I'll park a little bit further away. Okay, look at all these mysteries. How's that? Is that a bit better? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to jump out while you actually have a look, because I want to go up to the tree and just do a bit of investigating. How interesting is this? Now, I have checked around to make sure that there isn't a leopard or anything laying in the grass. But like I said, this is not particularly fresh. I actually can't really even see any little bones and things that would be down at the bottom. So obviously the hyenas have got to it. Use this tree. Yeah, it's quite old. I would say maybe a week old. Because I'm just looking at the skin. And you can see it's not very nice. I'm going to find where this leopard went up. Yeah, there's a little bone down here on the ground. Oh, I don't have my multi-tool on me. Maybe not even a week old. Maybe slightly. I'm going to bring this to you. I'm just having a look here. Are you hungry? Ribs? Anyone? That's terrible. That was such a bad joke. Just forget I even said that. If you look very carefully, Seb, all the way up here, you can actually see the bits of, like for instance over here, you can actually see the bits of bark that have been pulled off of the tree. And if you go all the way up, you can follow it. So that's the route that leopard has taken to climb up the tree. That's really cool. We can see a couple of claw marks as well going in there. And that's amazing strength. I mean, just in comparison to see how tall I am and how high that kill is. Imagine standing down here with a fully grown impala ram and being able to take it up. I'm going to go, it must be at least 4 meters. Just before it even gets to where that impala is. Probably 6 meters up quite easily. That is spectacular. This shows you the strength that a leopard actually has. And I'm going to bring this part across to you so you can have a closer look. I'm also going to plug my earpiece in. It doesn't actually smell very nice. I mustn't put that near my face, otherwise I might get sick. Look at this. So Megan, I am plugged in now if you have got a question or anything for me. And Roshni, you are actually wondering what it smells like. I'm going to just hold it. Sorry, I keep getting the wind changes direction and it blows right up my face. It's not a rotten smell just yet. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's actually not that old. Maybe 3 or 4 days old, just shy of a week. You can still see it's quite a bit of flesh here, but we would have seen a leopard up in this tree. I can't believe we've actually missed this because we've driven around here now so often. It's very, very interesting. But this is a rib bone. And other than this one on the ground, that's it. So the hyenas have obviously been around snatching up all the little scraps. Right, let's throw this back. I was worried that I was going to do one of those, Sebastian, and then the rib bone was going to go towards you. Can you imagine? I would be making coffee for you for the rest of my life. Right, but that's amazing. So I don't know who the culprit is or who's actually done that. I don't think Mvula's actually known about this at all. Let me climb back in. Right, let me quickly just jump back in. I'll plug my earpiece in. Now, David, you said you'd love to see the vultures come in. Oh, who have we got here? A little raptor. Just flying off. I didn't get to see what that was. It was too quick. It could have been anything. But, David, yes, it would actually be quite nice to see the vultures come in. To get something like that, they might not even know that this is up in the tree. Because it sounds like this is a completely different carcass from the one that Ali was talking about that the hyenas were eating. Because Rolf said he saw it happen, and obviously hyenas can't climb trees. They would have been eating one on the floor. Very interesting. Now, David, you're wondering if a vulture would push it onto the ground. I don't think the vultures would actually be able to get in there. There's so many small little branches overhanging on that carcass, and vultures have got quite a large wingspan, and particularly the white-backed vultures. It would make it very, very difficult for them to even get in there. So no, but like I said, I don't think they know it's there. Just want to check and see what tracks these were that I just saw. I think it's all the hyenas. Yeah, it's just a hyena track. I wanted to see if I could maybe see some leopard tracks and be able to tell if it was a male or a female that was around here. Now, we also know a Djuma hangs about on Buffelshoek Cutline and spends a lot of time on Buffelshoek. It could have been him. So maybe every time we have come around into this area and he's been up there, he could have just, slunk off into the grass and completely become invisible and just fed in between us driving around here. But that's amazing. And I will ask on the radio a little bit later to see if anybody else has actually even noticed that. Okay, very interesting. But let's go across to Ali now. Let's have a chat with her and get her opinion on who she thinks could have made that kill.
I am very puzzled about your finding, Tayla. I'm not too sure. Megs, can you just let me know where Tayla was so that I can maybe get a bit of a better idea in terms of geography? But also very strange to have found the impala, and obviously the leopard must have gone up there and feed off of it for a few days at a time, and we never found it, so that is so crazy. It's interesting. So Tayla is saying on the radio she's of Gowrie Buffelshoek Cutline, which makes it even stranger to think that perhaps one of our leopards has been up there and has been feeding off it. But it is interesting. I would put my money on Mvula perhaps, just because he has been going up and down around that area, or perhaps it was one of the skittish or more skittish leopards that's been around here. We do know where Mvula was yesterday pretty much for the whole day and the day before, and we also know where Tingana has been, so I think maybe that actually takes both of them off. I'm not too sure. Perhaps it's a leopard from Buffelshoek that's starting to come onto Djuma, maybe trying to push from the northern side. It would be quite interesting to see for the next few months how things play up, but I'm just as puzzled as what she is. I think maybe the usual culprits are not to be blamed this time around. Now, we are at Treehouse Dam, and we were hoping to do some more birding here. So we're just going to stop and see if perhaps we can pick up on any little birds that might be fluttering around that we haven't been able to spot yet. Let me just grab binoculars and see what's around. I see some ringneck doves in the distance, just in that corner over there, sunning themselves. Alright, seems like the guys in the north sorry guys, I'm just paying attention to the radio. It seems like they're discussing what potential leopard it is, and now they've found a leopard not too far from where this carcass was, but they haven't been able to determine if it's Mbula or another leopard. So I think the plot's just gonna thicken until we manage to get another view at them. How crazy is this? What an interesting leopard morning. I think this winter, everything that I thought that I knew about leopards has pretty much gone out the window. I do wonder, perhaps maybe there's another leopard that's coming into an area, like I said, maybe starting to push from the north and slowly, or the east as well, starting to come onto Djuma. Now, it seems like our good friend Scuba Steve, the hippo, is still in here today, and he is just putting his nose up every now and again, exactly the same way that it was doing it yesterday. Now, I think this is probably one of the shyest hippos that I have ever seen. Doesn't come out too much, so it'll be interesting to see if it's actually an older bull, if he's maybe got some scars around his body and that's why he's being so shy and just trying not to be seen or spotted by anything else around here. So like I said, every now and again we just see its nose pop up. Right, let me scan quickly around here, see if perhaps there are any other little birds here, because I can just hear the shrieking of some parrots in the distance, some brown-headed parrots. Ah, there are some. We've got a golden-breasted bunting over here, and Samantha, you're wondering what bird is on my to-see list worldwide. That's a good call. Well, I've been looking for, I think maybe 3 of them that I think that are on my top list now. The snowy owls that live in North America. I think those would be incredible birds to see, just because of their color, well, their white color and their sheer power. I would really like to see those ones, but there's another bird also called the African skimmer that you see mostly in Botswana and Namibia. And there were some reported sightings in the Kruger National Park this year, which was quite rare. So the African skimmer, because they look somewhat like a tern and they're very beautiful, and I would really like to see those ones. I had another one. Oh, and of course, I think the first one on the list, funny enough, I've got 2 owls that I want to see, is the Pels fishing owl, which is a beautiful owl that fishes, and it lives close to rivers. But I haven't been able to see it just yet, and I have gone desperately into the Okavango Delta on Mokoros exploring, trying to find them, and it hasn't quite happened yet, which is a bit upsetting. Now, seems like we've got a pied wagtail making that call on one of the branches. There we go. And there we go. The wagging of the tail, very characteristic. Oh, gone down. I wonder if it's gone to the shore. I can't see it anymore. Too many grasses around there. Some francolins in the distance. Seems like Treehouse Dam is a bit of a quiet spot to be today for birds. I was hoping that we were gonna see a bit more, but seems like maybe nature has chosen for us. We need to carry on with our path and maybe look for something else. Because also on this good old knobthorn that's fallen off, where we can see a lot of little birds, tiny little creatures that we saw yesterday, not one of them around here. Interesting time. So let's carry on. I don't think there are too many things to view around here. I can hear some of them coming down. Yeah, of course, I had to threaten that I was going to leave you all, didn't I? Alright, but I still can't see them. I hear them all around us. So maybe I'm going to just go around. Ooh, look there on the top of the tree. You see the big norther at the back, and then the one closer to the water on the top. the yellow ones. The yellow-fronted canaries, it seems. Always in little flocks together. Of course, that beautiful yellow, striking yellow is the most characteristic feature of them. Lev, you're wondering if there are any birds that we can't see because of the season. Look, I think they've all gone down to drink. It's a beautiful line. Yes, there are quite a few migratory species of bird that we only see during the summertime. Lots of different species of eagles, swallows, kingfishers. So just as the rainy season begins again, around about November this year, then we'll be able to enjoy the company of some of these other birds that we only see during the summertime. And a lot of these birds migrate because the winter becomes a bit too cold, but they also feed mostly, or some of the birds that come during the season, they mostly feed on insects, so they need an insect population. And you can imagine during the winter time, there aren't enough insects around here to sustain all of their nutritional requirements. Alright, I think all these little ones... Oh, okay. That is very nice. Somebody's having a bath. Very pretty. Oof, off you went. Alright, Treehouse Dam. I think you're still waking up. Perhaps later on today there will be more activity around birds, but I think we're going to leave them for now and carry on. I need to put this... Gonna go around, but while I do that, let's go to Tayla and see if she's got any more clues on that mystery ram.
No, and I've got another spanner to throw into the works because I picked up on female leopard tracks, adult female leopard tracks walking on this fire break. So I don't know what's happening here. Now, I know that Herbie often speaks of a skittish female leopard that hangs around here, Buffels Hook, and sometimes see tracks of female leopard up around this area. And I wonder if it wasn't her. The tracks sort of disappear down into the drainage going back towards Buffels Hook Katlan. There goes this little steenbok just ran across the road. And if you're thinking but the impala ram might be too big for her to take up a tree, often what female leopards will do, it's not impossible and they're strong too, is that they'll start feeding on them on the ground, maybe feed for a day or so, and then once the carcass is light enough, then take it up to the top of the tree. So I don't really know what's going on, and then if that is the case, it would maybe explain why we didn't see what was going on, because the grass is very, very long around there, and a leopard laying down in the flat grass like this with a kill would be virtually impossible to see who it is. So I don't know. I don't think it is Mvula that's made a kill. They have just confirmed that it's Mvula that's in Buffels Hook, so he's back that way now. So I wonder who was calling then in the Manuleti, because they said they heard a leopard and they had male leopard tracks crossing going towards back towards Sydney's Dam towards Manuleti. So I don't really know what's going on at the moment. It's difficult to sort of say. But interesting though. It just shows you how many cats we actually do have on the property at any given time. But to try and find them is so difficult. They are so camouflaged. We miss things all the time. Sometimes the sections of the roads aren't exactly ideal for tracking. You know, for us it might not be too great, but the animals don't mind on what roads they walk on. They don't look for sandy roads. They just walk wherever. And it can, obviously it's quite difficult for us then. It's just amazing. I can't get over it. How we've just been driving around, and I'm guilty. I was talking to Lex on the radio, and he joked, and he said he has an excuse as to why he's missed that, because he's much older than me and his eyesight is not so good. So I had a good chuckle at that. And it's just funny because we spent so much time driving up and around here. I can't believe that we've actually missed it. Let's go down Gallagher. Let's do that. See what's happening around here. Maybe we'll poke our nose into the Hyena Den and see if anybody is awake. It's warmed up really nicely now, so perhaps we'll get an opportunity again. Did I go down the right road? I did, yes. 64 and 18. But it's nice and warm. It feels warmer than that though, because yesterday I'm pretty sure it was 64 at one point and we were freezing. Anyways, I don't know. I give up with the temperature. Trying to predict weather and then the actual temperature. Because I could take all my jackets off now. It's not cold at all. But it's just too much of a nightmare to try and get all the cables sorted out. Because I wrapped myself in a blanket, I used a different technique of wiring myself up this morning. Right, there's lots of little birds here. Let's see if we can get one of them. Who's going to sit still for long enough? Let's try find that one. No one's sitting still just yet there. We've been spotted. Oh my goodness, is the show almost over already? I can't believe we only have 10 minutes left, Megan. The driver's flown by this morning. Wow. Okay. Well, it's so corny, Megan said. Megan's directing. Megan said, time flies when you're having fun. It does indeed. So I see some very fresh hyena tracks on top of the vehicle tracks from this morning. So I'm just going to pick up the pace just slightly, just so we can get into where the den is. It's around here. It's around the next bend. We're almost there. Sebastian, how excited would you be to see little hyena cubs?
Very.
Hey? I'm sure that will make your day. Come on, little car, let's go. See, there's lots of tracks here, right? All over our Ali's vehicle tracks from this morning. No. Leopard as well. Hang on. Yeah. That's interesting. There's leopard tracks here too. And hyena. Maybe these are Mvula's tracks now. I'm not going to stop it because we don't have much time, and I'd much rather check the hyena den. There was big male leopard tracks walking up this road now. So maybe that's another leopard that's causing all the hassles down the side. Have I gone past it now? I don't think so. And I think this is Mvula because we're not far from where he crossed. Oh no, it's up here. There we go. X-Ranger, I haven't heard from you from quite some time. It's great to hear your name pop up. You've said the mysteries of the bush are what makes Safari Live so great. It is. I love it. It's like a little soap opera that we try and put together these pieces of the puzzle and try and match them up. Sometimes, you force a piece in. It doesn't really fit, but you can always pull it out though and put the correct one in. And that's what's so nice, is that nothing is fixed with nature. Anything can happen. We all know this. But we're coming up to the den now. Do I see any naughty heads popping up? No, not yet. To get to our spot. We're almost in here. I don't think anyone is home. Oh no, there they are. There they are. They're here. The hyenas are here. All of them. The adults are here too. Look, down there. There they're sitting. So there's our little fluffy wonder from yesterday, Ntima. And there are some adults who look filthy, as you can see. Look at that. That one doesn't look particularly clean. Massive bellies. Oh, Ali's going to be so sad. Ali's going to have to come here later on. Now, it's quite difficult to try and go maneuvering through, so I think we'll just have to hang tight and hold this position for now. They're sitting in the shade. I don't really know if we're going to have too much time to move around, and I also don't want to startle them too much. We need to try and come and do just a little bit of clearing around here, just to make it easier to gain entrance to this den. And also we don't want to make too much noise. We want to come in as quietly as we can. There's the little one having a bit of fun. Finally, someone that wants to come and play with me. Now you be careful because you've got very sharp chompers. Don't bite too sore, and this is the only thing, is that they never control themselves. But look how excited this little one is. Hello! I don't know if this is Mom, so all of you that are watching, you're welcome to please give me as much information on these hyenas as possible as to who you think they are and who's who in the zoo. But look at it. Oh, they are so precious, these creatures. So even something that is not necessarily appealing to everyone's eyes, and I think hyenas are beautiful. Some of you may disagree with me, but how sweet is that? To see a young hyena cub playing about, just being all nice and social. This is so great. Look at it. Like an excited puppy. Like, you've gone away from the weekend and your dogs haven't seen you for a long time. That's exactly what's going on now. I've missed you so much. Thank goodness you're home. that little funny thing. Oh, look, my friend Tayla's here. Yes, little one, now you can come and play. Racing off. It's the Usain Bolt of hyenas. Barbara, you said it's so nice to have the hyenas back. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're actually going to have to tell Ali. Megan, please tell Ali that she must just come here anyway so she can have a look at them, even if it is after drive. Because I know she's been dying to see these fluffy, or to see all of them together. I wonder where our little one is. It could just be around the corner. Maybe it's suckling or having a siesta now. I don't know how long the adults have been back for. You did see them walk past with Ali at one point earlier this morning, but they didn't seem to move off. Oh, this is so cool. Any information coming through, Megan, about the hyenas? Or was it fairly quiet? Everyone's just happy to see them. Ah, okay, so it seems as though Chris Rogue, who is very, very good with the hyenas and identifying them, and I know there are a whole lot of you, I don't know if she's maybe watching, but I'm sure she'll be excited to know and go back and watch this drive, and she'll be able to help us. But if anyone else is watching that is better than I am at telling which hyena is who, you're welcome to go for it. Hello, my little friend. I love this hyena so much. It's so cute. It's just, you won't be able to see it. It's right here at my tires. Now, I'm having many mechanical problems with Rusty. Please do not create anything more for me, like chewing on my pipes or on my tires. It's right here. Let me see. I don't think you can see it. No. Okay, there it goes again. Speed races off. It's so excited. I don't know if I've ever actually seen a young hyena cub this excited about life before. So this is such an amazing experience. Here we go, being reprimanded, saying you're getting too rough now by one of the others, not as tolerant. Lord, you've said that hyenas are your favorite. They're my second favorite animal to elephants. Elephants are still the winners. But you can clearly see why hyenas grow on you. Look at it. I'm going to push you and shove, and somebody needs to play with me. I've got all this energy. Perhaps, hyena, if you want to welcome me and invite me into your home, I'll happily come and sit there with you and play with you. I'll chase you around. I'll throw sticks for you. It's not a dog, of course. I wish I could do all these things. But see, look, coming back to say hello again. You are so curious, aren't you? You are a beautiful little one. You know, coming right up to the car again. I'm just going to duck out of the way. This is my shoulder, just so that I don't ruin the view. No, it's just here by my tires. I'm actually going to stick my head out because I want to see where it is, so I apologize. What are you doing? Excuse me, what did you just touch? It touched the car. Naughty hyena, that. I don't know what it touched in front. I mean, it definitely had a smell of something, and then it gave itself a fright and then ran all the way back around again. I just heard a slight, like a ticking noise. Look there, it knows. And I think that they'll relax here for most of the day. They've obviously had a fantastic feeding on an impala will be great. I mean, hyenas specialize on eating the leftovers normally, so they don't often get to get the big bits of meat that you will get from an entire carcass. You know, they just crunch on the bones and eat the skin and the leftovers. Not necessarily the most palatable most palatable bits. My goodness, I'm so excited. So for them to have a big meal like that, I can imagine full bellies, eyes closed, and they'll spend most of the day in the shade. Little one, you're having a suckle. Are you trying to? Sierra, you said that they're filled with beans. Too, they are indeed, especially this little one, yes. I think that's obviously Mom sitting down next to it, just having a suckle. So if this isn't Tima, then that must be Ribbon over there laying in the long grass. Because a hyena wouldn't suckle from anyone else but its own mother. The other mothers wouldn't be as tolerant. It's not like what we sort of see with lions where they will allo suckle. Just having a rest now. Now the little one has run out of energy. I think it just put on that show for us. Perhaps it was excited to say, hey, look, have you met my new friend Tayla? She was here yesterday and we had a great time with her. And I know, I wonder if that's what this little one is thinking. It's what I like to think. But soon, it is also a a very full belly, and it will join in on the siestas that the adults are having. But it's been a fantastic drive once again out here in the Sabi Sands. Everything's coming back together again. Winter is here, my favorite time of the year. All the animals are back. Hopefully we'll get some lions over the next few days. But don't disappear, because you've only got a couple of hours before the sunset safari starts all again, and hopefully Ali is going to be the one that arrives here and can entertain you with some hyenas. But a big thank you from all of us of Wild Earth, and of course thank you to the Kenya team. We miss you lots. We'll see you this afternoon on the Sunset Safari.